subong sir, ginarapapap gini subong. Kaya mo ini ang ginatiga na additional expenses pa sa eleksyon.
Ay, sus.
Toda.
600 million na. May 600 million na sila na tax income return na ginapabot. Pero pag ititiyon, pagin mo araw.
Pati gani medical gloves gani ginadiskartihan pa.
Ay, pwerte na gid niya. Wala na gid niya kalagkag kaluoy. Maitom na gid niya nga tagipusoon sa mga...
Why na ubusay na gid mo? Ubusay na.
Allow me abyan Ria.
Okay.
Nag-agree ako mo.
Oh.
Wala akong sitwasyon. Wala na ma-privatize na. Sinong una maigo, kamawasan pa lang abuyan. Natural ang mga tenants na eh. Hindi na gani na hindi na gani nakabayad o hindi na gani na ma-open pa na, mabakal ka, manok, timplahon mo, wakataw, suwan mo, wala sa may makadto.
Iban
mo manok mo.
Iban na gani hindi pa kabayad sa manok nga ginkuha nila.
Amo gani.
Gapag
Wala na ya ginapaminsan sa naton syudad. They are just only thinking for the taxes. But in returns, wala sila gapaminsan sa subsidy. Wala nila ginasubsidize sini nga mga tao. Nga mo ni dapat ni mo gintutukan mo ni, itagahan nyo ni atensyon, kaya mo ni nagatag isa sa ngalan sa syudad sa Bacolod, ang Manukan country. No? Food hub sa tanan-tanan nga people in the walks of life. Local kag foreign countries, nagatatko sa Manukan country. Local na sa Bacolod. Karon, kung ma-privatize na, do you think ang maka-afford na iniayahan ang mga tenants sa subong o kon may lain naman nga
lain na mga sikat na nayaguro basi ko na mga chicken man tuod, prote mga dlagko, mga big time na nga negosyante makwanda.
Natural hindi mag-aircon na nata. Sino ba na karon yung people in the rooks may pagkakanto na kaya hindi na maka-afford siyempre ma-privatize na, magmahal na nga sila, mahal man ang pagkaon na. Sino nga mahuy-puloy pa na kapag makakaon na
amo na da
sa mga pigato na sa gila kasal, ang gila da nga bunyag. Amo man lang naman sa langay sa nato mga pauturan nga rin sa kubos mga pigato, manukan. Diba? Pag may kasal, hindi na maganda, kato na lang sa manukan.
Correct.
Kabiriano lang. Kung kinari lang celebration nilipay ng tao. Kasi privatize na karon, ginulaan mo yung ang tanay nga tao sa Bacolod, ginulaan mo yung sa Maglaong. Kaya, bisan paano makasilibrar sila sa magamay nila na kantidad, maka-happy-happy sila po sila pamilya. Kung privatize na karon, damo galing wala kasulod sa SM sa Ayala.
Correct.
Mga bigyan lang gani na kasulod, diba kasulod na lagaw-lagaw na lang. Hindi ka sarang magasto, karon privatize mo pag kita manukan. Hindi na ang sentido common sa nga itong mga opisyalis. So ako, ginapalambot ko lang ni sa itong mga kultura dili sa makadak sa Bacolod. Nga hindi ka katabo subong sa itong syudad, dobong kiturot na niya, luway na niya.
Why na pagulikin bahala na kabudaas long nga ang intensyon namon may ara kami para sa amon. Amon na iya ang punto da.
Diya mo lang gani. Now, ang atong mga opisyal, they are looking forward nga gina-place nila ang may mga manggarano na nga daan, ang may mga kwarta na nga daan niya negosyante. They are not helping our small-scale industry. They are killing our small industry like Manukan country. Pinapatay nila, ginadudo nila. Sana'y pala naong sila, katuwa nila ang Manukan country, kataon nila, tapusin saon, nganan nila ka, ano na tapusin mo? Kagumagambal na puso na kami, ma'am, sir, kaya wala na kami during pandemic. Di na tani, i-subsidize nila ang mga tao na. Tagaan nyo liwat, para ang ginapanako lang nila ang taxes, ang support ay in return tani, man, itanawin nila ang sitwasyon sa mga tenants na. And lastly, Abian Ray, nadugangan, pag-iting ako, simbukal sa dugo ko, kaya itong natabo, pag ito bala sa barangay Singkang Airport, itakod ko na lang diya.
Okay, go ahead.
Atong sa Purok Sigay ito, bla.
Make your day.
Makaluluoy man itong sobra 300, to kapag ni Malay, itong agad na bugay, itong ipang-utlan kurinti.
Amo na, ang kapintas bla nila.
So, wala siya, kung ito kaitong sa nila, dati pusuon, mga wala konsensya, wala. Kampanya na lang sa gusto, pamulitika lang, ang mga tao nga kubos, hindi mo na pagilagdan. Kaya mo na purpose kung nga ang politiko ka nga gusto mo mag-leader ka sa isa kasyudad or kumbadwa because gusto mo patapon ni mga tao na nga kulang sa ginaalam, kakulang sa palangabuhan, kamo na ang purpose sa isa kamayo ang politiko. Hindi kayo kapagkabatsyag mo nga hindi mo puputsi mo, nga buton mo, nabugayon mo hasta nga
Ti ang una, sinamo tong gintagaan bla ni Albi to sa araw bla pertes ang solar lamp do bla. Dumduman mo to? Pinangwasak man to ila balay? Oh.
Wala ka na isiling kong galblatane ng politika lang, kampanya lang. Hindi ta pag-abusuhan ng otoridad nga nauyatan ta. Kay in the first place, iyapoy nyo na sa inyo masumpong sa politika. I-prepare na nga kusog, hindi iya pagkamita ya nga ang talaksa sa imo pagpamulitika, ang mga pigado, ang mga kubos na makaluluhoy ng adaas. Hindi sitido kumol man. Sa mo nila na, mas naging gani na nagklaro ang puti.
Correct na, insakto na. Oh.
So what you're doing now,
Harassment ba ang ginaimo nila mo? Harassment na. Hindi na na mayo. Hindi na na makijos.
isadugang ko da,
Oo. Tawag-tawag ka man, Bi. Daw ako lang ginawa, tawag mo. Tawag-tawag ka man, Bi. Oh, sige. Dugay ka pa. What? Hello? Ay, nalubat ka na? Ay,
Lagan, hapang subong diin ka na amon
ay, nalubat na siya.
kinahanglan sa subong nga tigulo.
Oh, way ka na, basik yung ginlampusan ka na da, nanon tabo si mo da. Garing, ngaway ka na nagsabat, nalampusan ka na.
Kulod ya kurap nga gakurap.
Oh.
Wala daw na mata. Okay.
Okay.
Last time may correct, patayunon ko lang ha.
Okay.
Sa ang katanta sila magtanaw kung pigado, no? Sa ang illegal na connection, no?
No.
Nga mga dalag ko, diri nato na konsumidori sa Bacolod, linibo kag milyon ang atraso nga di masukot, hindi mo utdan. Ihata ko lang isa kasulit nga ehemplo. Ang ato city government may mga quarantine facilities na dagang COVID facilities. Sa list. Mga traffic lights na. May budget nga. Ako sa budget. Why gani ka bayad nga? Why kinautanaw? Lain ang mga tao, wala city kakao na may kinasalay kay ngabot na utdan. Bakit ang gilas? Na kunwari, we are doing our job for the benefit and the interest of the consumers. Oh, come on. Dapat hindi ka bias, alalangay. Kami may mga regular employee sa syudad, hindi mag-intra. Kaya ang oath nila, hindi sa politiko ka nagpapunta.
Correct!
Nila is sa taxpayers. Para na sa Civil Service Commission. Ako ya, sa buong plano na kuya, nga matamato ko ni pang-file kaso bintang mga regular na entrada.
Abaw! Amo na, tinuay kaya tuyo, pailan ni kaso ni?
Pangpailan ko niya lang kaso yan. So daw, kapangita lang ko sa gusto nga tikang. Mahala na, retired na kuya, why naman ko na yan pa. Ay kuya, pakialam sila na. Ang masakit para sa ako niya nga ang pigado yan, dus-duson mo, pagid niya dus-duson. Hindi pa ito makaluluhoy, ginpagid, ginsimo, mo pagid di mo yan.
Okay.
So, abyan re, kabay-pay ning apong ginapotuas, makalambot ni sa aton bumuloto. Bilhin nyo na i-gauge ang inyo. Nga hula-hula kung ano nga klase sa mga leaders ang yara kita sa buong atong syudad.
Ubusa sila!
Tanawa nyo kung ano kabayas ng ginobra nila. Hindi niya uso nga pamulitika nila. Hindi nyo yung pag-iintla ang mga kubos. Kaya wala ka mo padaog. So, wala ka mo padaog pangita ka mo ideya. Hindi nyo paggamita ang mga kalag na makaluluhoy kay gabaan ka mo sila.
Amen?
Amen.
Daw nagpastor ka? Amon na resulta sa tubang mo permis sa mga pare da. Kasalamukan.
Amo ni problema, Abian Reo. Kabalo ka man ang direktor man ta sa Malawi. Nga kung ano, sa traditional play ng tal-tal na. Ang gipermi ko da ginapamalandungan, permi China ni Pilato mo.
Balo ko ang anak ko na ginimo mo si Udas.
Sa judgment pala, sa judgment. Sa nagatindok si Kristo kag si Barabas. Namangkot si Pilato. Karon tulukan nyo na yung duha ka tawo. Itudlo si Kristo. Ining isa ka ambong anawong ang dagway. Wala bayad sa sala. Matarong. Tukon. Itudlo iya sa Kristo. Kagdasan itudlo man ni Pilato si Barabas.
Barabas.
Kag inang isa ka tawo nga makawat nga nakapatay na ganit sang tawo. Karon sino sa inyo, luyag ang akong pagabuyan. Ano singita sa mga tao? Si Barabas, si Barabas, si Barabas.
Hilwayon ang kawatan!
Karon, yan re, hinibo na katinurik na nagliligad, nagbinalo-baylo na ang liderato sa nga atong paggobyerno. Pero ang dagta sina nga mansa, nagapabilin sa gihapon sa tunga naton. Kaya nga ang aton mga government official, puros tanan man Pilato, hindi kabalo magtindog sa ilang responsibilidad.
Abaw.
Kung di na gusto ko siya, kay manghinaw man sa ila mga kamot. Damo, yapon.
Ining tuyo nila nga i-privatize naman ang manukan. Sila ang gadihon sini. Sila ang nagadihon kag madesisyon sini. Big time naman ini. Buligan mo na ang aton nga mga kauturan, monitoraabe kung anong medyos posibilita nga mabalabagan taning maitom nila nga buko naman, no?
Ako na pa nga ba yun sa tagamanukan, ako niya nga presensya, iya nga mga spokesperson ko na, matindong ko na sila tunga niya. Matindong ko sila kausada ya.
Dapat gid. Kay kabudlay siniya ang ilayahandom ya makakwarta lang sinadi. Dako niya nga kontrata mo nga transaksyon. Dako ganing kontrata sang basiwa ini pa.
Sasuway na gida. Daw hindi na niya stoya nga pangimano. Ayaw na niya ipuwer.
Grabe na gino. Grabe na gino.
Nila manggad man di naman nila madala to sa pasya mo pa din.
Additional na, irapapat kita para additional sa eleksyon.
Ay, di pong urot niya.
Oo.
Ako na gani, kaya ang nagsilinggit to si Barabas, si Barabas, amo mo na siguro ako ng mga bubuluto para sa tupad nila. Mga kawatan na hilig magbuto sa mga kawatan. Kaya nga, nagkilita ay, ang manubugas kamot, kanga maluyag sa mga kawatan.
Ati, simpeders?
History repeated itself.
Ang orason ka basta ya subong di mabalaan kung ano.
Napunhan ko naman siguro ang pila ka oras nga may duga ka pa nga pamangkot sa Re?
Actually, mga baym lang ko pabulig lang ko kay balan mo ginakwa na ni subong gina-workout gini. Kay base makibot kita dason simana, aprobado na ni. Kay ginaitso na ni subong ang mga kwan mo. Gina-finish na ang pagplastar bala. No mga kondisyon, tanan, ang sitwasyon, pila ang ihatag, pila ang komisyon, partidahay na nimo. Partidahay is in nga daan ma-develop na eh.
Hindi na tatanawon post-garante sa katawan, kung anong legality kay base may masilip man tada nga illegality. Although ang the chief local executive has the power and authority to negotiate or to do the business in behalf of Bacolod.
At least ang aton intention ba si paman lang kung mapagaran bla, madilid-dilid lang bala, kay balan mo ang intention lang ni nila nga may ngagaw ni nga panding sa eleksyon. Tikon hindi tani ma-delayed kung ano ang mga ultima recurso naton ni basikon balan mo ang dako nga konsubong, ang dako nga mga contribution karon ara da sa mga transaksyon That is why nga nagakuanla, nagatingwa gid sila nga makapangita sang mga additional distribution o funding. Sir?
Okay, amo ni Bianre, amo ni natanawon ta, although the city is the best authority to negotiate and to do business in behalf of Bacolod City.
Pero timagi guro ni anay sa kwan, may public hearing guro ni?
Supposedly dapat
O, hindi mo niya marikta, insigida, kinanglan i-call mo niya anay ang public hearing, ang concern sa aton nga mga vendors na?
That's it. That's why tanawon ta gani, what is the purpose?
Oo.
What is the purpose?
Mm.
Why in the hell nga immediate gidayon?
Hmm.
Why pa gani sila sa iluhan, no? Why
Tidra,
gani sila sa iluhan, no?
Oo,
Kaso gusto nila ipostro. Di nila ni panailuhan di mga tinas ni sa manukan ni.
dito sa may kwan, sa may esplanade, sa kilid subatob lang may mga katubuan.
Pakalilintian ka. Jesus Mario, Joseph at Isiman.
Ginapakita na gani subong sa periodiko. Napakita ng esplanades. Dito ka sa...
Go to the dump na niya.
ano tong termo ha? Ano to?
Go to the dump. Iwin, babe. Why na niya?
Pay gina. Pertige no inga gaway na nimo. Inga gaway na ni. Pertige ang kaba. Hook or bite kurokya.
Sura na ni nila, guro.
Oh.
Nagabatsyag sila kaya ang tanan na lang matitian, titiyon.
Basta kung maperdi sila, at least makakwarta sila. 'Di ba?
Ako gani, Abianre, well, abot na kalapir diri sila. Kabay pa ma-prosper pag yan ang kaso para sila. Para
ako yung mga baygid ko. Mga baygid ko sa kay Albi.
Para mabatsyagan, yes. Para mabatsyagan gid nila kung daw ano kasakit ang ginimo ila sa Bacolod noon, especially ang mga katao nga mga pigado ka kubos nga gindaog-daog nila.
Correct na. Correct na. Kag mabatyagan nila nga may hustisya gali.
Yes.
Di bala? Ngati masampawan lang to yun. May mga gwardya sibil to ang sa mga kaso to. Imagine mo, 96 ka kaso. Mayroon to ganing isaya si Vice Mayor to ay nag-akseptar to sang suspension to kaya hindi siya interesado mag-mayor. Di ba?
Kay kabalo, sa may man siya mo.
Pag...
Ang ilang Abianre, ini Abianre nga katabo sa buong sa Bacolod. Believe me, ang kakatubo sa mga sa Bacolod sa bilog ng Pilipinas. This is now a providential intervention.
Bawgabay pa.
Tama ang kaalam, kakalo, kakademonyo sa tao sa kalibutan.
Correct.
So tama na ni. That's why the providential intervention now is going on.
Gabay pa.
Sa Bacolod, kagiling natabo sa Bacolod ni. Ako yung gambal kay kuya kaya ako naka-witness ko na to sa Manago. Wala yan na yun hindi man to dapat tumandayon to. But I've seen and I feel the purity of heart ni Albi Benitez. Atong bata, atong kakapaligo, sa pagkadamo-damo kapaligo, sa baybay sa Manago. Wala, damo-damo yan na wala gitya. Nakita ko gitya ka naglilay sa paglilitan niya. Kita yan bata to sa kapaligo, to kakuriit. Yung katawag niya, basta nalumos to. Yung katawag ka bata, tayo kapo-dapo nga bukong sa liog. Mangkot siyang lulan na, wala nang ginikanan, lulan na lang. Papangkot sa bata, kay bata, tululuwa. Grabe nga bukol. Sis guro to. Legit rin tawag sekretarya. Hindi pagbayae. Dalaan nyo sa ospital, ang detalye tanan. Dalaan nyo na. Kung hindi madala, dala sa Makati, charge to my expenses. Kaya makuna. Wala tayo yung plano. God really bring Albi to that place in order to save that child.
Correct.
Sobrang kasakit ang ginabatsyag niya.
Tikuan mo lang ba, Sibla, serang sa Kwanbla, ang sa Villamonte, to blang agin pang dimulis, obligasyon to sa sudad.
Hindi ka ba yung kakita man?
Right?
Pasulaan mo, tuta yung gamito niya. Politiko nga nagagiling nga mo na. Kasi na yung kwataya, tagya para mamatamat sa titong balay nyo. Hindi na yan, may politiko nga pares na di. Imorsa pa na nila, nay, kanigurol, di kay...
Ginawa na gani nila kapanigpot pa diyo, nanong silipoton, bisan na medical gloves, ahaw taga 400 ang bili, ipatong 2,050.
Yan ang ambal nila. Paambal nila, hindi vindicted. Sili to the Marines, may magulang ko na ng impliyo. I've been a victim of vindictiveness.
Mayo lang gani kay may ara kita agi North Aguinaldo Doctrine.
Wala yan, Ray. Ako, nakasiling ako. Nga, the color white now is really shining in Bacolod City. But for me, this is a providential intervention because it's been so long, for 21 years. For 21 years. Grabe ongoing ang corruption sa Bacolod City.
Away gida, way pugtak mo. Halin sa mga kalag sang tawo ya. Grabe mo, bisan kalag ya, ginapaubra mo. Mga pastor, ginasitusi, ngalan sang pastor.
Ara na lang gani o. Ara na lang gani o. Patyo mataway na gini nga. Iya na nakapatay na iya iligtaan, nakapuluyan. Na ginakawatan pa gani. Sabi nakapangawat ay larang malanada sa palibot. Sabi dinano. Hindi na hostisya dapat ipatay mo na yan. Kung ano na lang yung klasis ang susiputot.
Oh, gapa mo yayaw kasi, Ronder.
Hindi ni pa mo yayaw, expression. Ano nga pala? Abi, partner, ito Diyos ako, hindi ang matawag mga progreso, be.
Ha?
Hindi, ang araw progreso na.
Hindi araw. Araw na progreso ang ilang akuan, pangabuhi. Kitaan mo naman dang ibanda sang una, gatakol-takol sapatos, subong may mga bag-o na nga mga pick-up, di ba? Gatakol-takol pa na. Huwag ka nakita? Malang ganin na kayo nakatransfer na siya. Sang sa isa na siya ka politiko sang una, huwag gina. May cooler pa, may nagapanawag pa. Sige. Okay. Hello? Sige lang, okay lang.
Halos tanan gatingo hapig
Kung may sugpon ka, sir,
aya di sa
panawag lang liwata.
nakaon ginbulos sa pwesto daw hindi pa masaligan wala gid may nahimo kag wala gid may natuman.
Hello, may ngapon, may ngapon.
May hapon, sir.
Oo, bawo nagkatawag ka sa...
Ano na lang, sir, ang Bacolod, sir, kung mag-abot ang eleksyon, sir, ay nabilin ang Bacolod, ubos sa baligya ni Mayor Bing.
Ay, ambot.
Yung ano na lang Pumuluyo, sir, ano na lang kita, sir. Ubos sa baligya ang propiedad ng Bacolod.
Basta may transaksyon lang, why natalabot na yung mga pigado, guro,
Ano na lang, sir, sino mapugong sila?
Ti sino mapugong kaya mga kaunsilor da, nag-ailipos man, nakumpormi man, sila na at puntanit
Ano na lang, sir, ang propiedad ng Bacolod, yung ubos sa baligya ni Bing.
Gani, ti kayo siya ang ginpili ninyo mo.
Tani, ginbuligan, tani Duterte, di kung may kwansa,
May mga plan, may mga anomalya man to gani sa iya nga kwano.
Kasi pa rin sila, sir.
Oh. Sige na.
Sige, sir, ako na lang na, sir, tani, islamdagan lang una-una ni Bing kagtagipusoon sa mga Diyos nga, diwato na iya batasan.
Boko nami gitani kung may tagipusoon siya.
Gani, sir, maluoy tani ang mga Diyos. Nasandugo na
Pukawa bi ang tagipusoon, abi ni Bilyo, abi. Pukawa bi. Ikaw bi ang pangabay, ikaw bi pukaw sang tagipusoon ni Ibilyo.
Mayor Bing, maluoy man ka ang taga-Bacolod, Mayor, ay?
Dugangi pa.
Maluoy ka man, Mayor, nga ano na lang ang taga-Bacolod, kung iubos sa baligya ang propiedad, ang slaughter yung baligya yan, ang basura yung baligya yan.
Dason.
Ang tubig yung baligya yan.
Dason.
Ano ba na kita? Ang musiko, yung tayo na yung baligya.
Way pa na, dason pa na.
Ano na lang, sir, ang Bacolod, sir, kung iubos sa baligya, sir?
Tandugang blatyagon ni Vilyo. Tandugagid.
Mayor,
Ibibla.
kaman sa taga-Bacolod, ay, sakto na nga pang kurap.
Kabalo ka magibe.
Ay, hindi na ko gani, sir. Sa propiedad
Ida sang makulog ni Hombo niya lang baligya sang Juan. Wala din sa kaluoy. Sir, itong as in itong maginangya nga kasing-kasing aw.
Ay, kabudlay, hindi ta magkuan no, bisan ako hindi ko kangop siya eh. Kaya bisan naobserbahan ta kung tani supposed to be, kay nagabulig si Albi sa mga ginapabayaan niya di, bisan tinaga lang abis lamat gid si mo congressman kay ginadipara mo dang mga tawo ko.
Hindi mo na madala ni Mayor mapatay siya, hindi mo na madala niya manggad, sir, sa impyerno?
Hindi man, kay ibilin niya man na sa pamilya mo.
Gabi na pagtigo sa taga-Makulog.
Ibilin niya man na sa pamilya ya.
Ang pamilya ya, pakauno, masugod ng pamilya ya, makaon sang hindi maayo nga...
Tidadugay naman ha?
Ay nga, ginaguro sa gipusoon, sir. Basig manugwa na ng sungay nila.
Oh yeah, up.
Ay, sorry.
Up. Oh, sige. Oh, sige. Tengko, salamat gid. Sino ni? Ay, awir. Away ko.
Kung sa ospital hindi na
Lipat ko sang kuan niya to ba? Ang iyang kung diin to siya kapanawag. Sige lang. At least, thank you ang importante lang kung lipat gid ko magpamangkot sa imo kung sinungalan mo.
kat sang gobyerno, corona nga
May mga text kita diri mga kabyanan, dali lang kita. Kaya karon bautran tay dos, grabe naman niya. Oh, grabe ba? 32 ang text ta maubos ta ni. Oras naton subong alas 5:28. Okay, unahon ta niwa. Si 078, dali lang gid mga kabyanan na. Sino ang hibi rondari, mga crying crocodile na guro. O may cooler pa kita. Sige, dali lang gid. Hello caller, may ngapon. Abaw, grabe ang imo nga kwan nga monitor. Inay. Oh, inay. Oh, okay. Anong concern na ton taga-diin kita? Oh, grabe gid. Ara na. Ilampusan na yung monitor mo bla, ilampos bla.
Okay.
Oh, nalampos mo na?
Okay na.
Oh, sige. Taga-diin
Toto.
Sa Tangob?
Oo.
O ano ang aton matugda to?
Naluoy ko sa bahay. Ito lang hindi.
Te.
Diba parang ito lang. Lungon plus may burgos. Kasi may party ba sa mamang.
Sa Dina.
Burgos lang. Wala ito lungon.
May nadula nga lungon?
Oo, burgos. Piga-piga.
Ay, awir. Pati ina, ginaka.
Kasi party na sa mamang.
Oh, hindi may away na.
Oo, parang nga pa. Kasi nung order na dyan. Pati lungon. Pati naraman siya.
Oh, grabe na yun. Oh, nga gina-practice na may nagabantay dahil di bla kaswal na sang sudad.
Wala na pulos ng daray. Ang kabantay na tiyo ko na.
Atiyo mo?
Oo.
Ay. May sinuyo pa ipadagyapon siya ba?
Ang wala ko balo kasi basi. Ako lang ang kuha ni mamang, ang niya nga nag-bloss. Nakapoy si nag-bloss. Tarkada ko.
Te.
Siya na dalay.
Ano?
Bago na dalay, ang baka ang ako ni mamang.
Oo.
Tarkada ko na.
Te.
Sa una.
Atong apo yang nadakpan nagbabaligya siya ba?
Oo.
Si John Michael Leonardia? Migo mo to?
Mamang.
Ay, apo to ni Mayor ni Bla?
Dalay.
Apo ya to? About 30 grams to kag may marijuana pa, pro grabe no?
Kita mo kagawa.
Gani. Grabe no?
Okay na. Ako ang kalendar way.
Oo.
Kasi nga ito, nag-ubos siya, si Mamang. Kung nag-ubos ka naan. Kung ito, kasi karaw, yan na, eh.
Kung ano?
Karaw, yan ka na ako, ay kang, kaya ka na, ito.
Hindi na, kutso na nang imuya. Tuod ka. Sa paano ka mo nagmigway sa ngapo ni Kuan ni Bing Leonardo nga nadakpan nagabaligya siya bo? Classmate mo siya. Sa din ka mo nag-classmate tanay sa may ringgilya. Sa din ka mo nag-classmate tanay. Sa eskwelahan, hindi sa pool. Ay, kabuyong inim laki tuto. Ah.
Ito pala ang ito, siya mataboy.
Oh. Oo. Ha? Agle, may video ka na. Oh.
Yung tayo nakatok si mo sa my phone ka kay.
Sige, kanto na rin kay mo, sontak ka.
Ko sa iyo, ako si mo.
Oo ah. Oh.
Ang taon mo lang.
Okay ta, kay mabasa ko to sa mga text niyo.
Punta?
Ha?
Punta?
O sige, salamat kid, salamat. Kung ginamos man ginamos man kag utan.
Oo,
Oo. Ang una ko nga ginamos sa montong nami. Galing kay hurab sa nga ko ni Dobla sinaka sa lamisa. Ate ang way gid bilin. Ang ako nga ginbakal kay na medyo mapait-pait.
Kaya ako galing siya mapait-pait na. Patambis na ko siya dyan.
Ano?
Anong patambis na ko siya dyan namin katulad siya mapait-pait. Kung pag-usap ko tambis, pag-sulat dyan mo garagook.
O sige na. Name mo. Sige. Bye-bye.
Banwang akong diin, dogadamo na ang buaya.
Ay, mga langit
sa bangko, samtang nagasinadya, pinalangga nga.
Ang mayor ipabaligya sa ila rondari kag ipapa-privatize ang government center kag Bacolod Plaza. Good PM lang da. Sa politiko ya rondari ang ila na slogan sina by the people and for the people. May tama ni si 078 galing kay ikaw bla 078. Waay ka nag-text kung diin ikaw, no? Kung sino ikaw. O sige. Hambal ni Attorney Cesar Distrito sang 2019 Bing ang pinakamaayo kag pinakadamo nga proyekto sa tanan nga mga mayor nga nagpungko sa Bacolod. O iyan ni 693. O okay. Basa ko na. Titi lang kag tinangkuloy ang inyong mga pirado. Titi lang. Ay si Kwani 693 ay migo sus Mariosep.
Babaw ang pagpada.
Kung kabalo ka lang alin pa niya sang 2005.
Tay na lang sa kagaw, bisan dalo.
Kung kabalo ka lang migo, way kuya gaminggol kung sino na diyang. Way kuya pasipsip sa kung ano. Ay Maria Josep, hindi ko guilty sa ginadres mo. Basi antes recover na albi ang Bacolod, basi maubos na baligya ni Bing ang propiedad sa Bacolod. Sige, yan ini 396. Okay. Another one, 791, ubuson tagini kay usik ni sila timpo eh. Thank you gid, mayo gid na nga masunog ang ilang plano. Mayong diskusyon nyo congrats gid sa gin-interview mo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Wow, na ba thank you sa 689 spiritual battle na ni Sir for the entire Philippines, specifically in Bacolod City. Bacolod City is now the Southeast Asian hub of Unwill, Swill, and Paul's Mill. Grabe. Grabe niyo. Naunahan kag naperdi na kita sang Ormoc City sa latest survey result of most richest city in the Visayan region. In terms of asset, my gosh, butuhon nyo pa ini ang mga grupo progreso. Wake up call na ini sa mga voters, resident, and millennial to choose the best transparent political world and dynamic leaders. And I thank you. Oh, sige. Okay. Thank you man sa kay migo na ton 689. Okay. Gago na gid ta nga mga pumuluyo kung hindi ta siya pagbutuhon ara na ina sa pinsarya nga magtinad ang pigado nga mga Pinoy kag naagihan niya kung ano kasubo kung pigado ka. O sige, okay. Si Pacquiao ni Guro rin ko niya. Si Rapitoy abi ang pasabta kag ang pastor nga impostor bla. Okay. Bawa nga ako ni nablos nong musta. Sige lang matawag ko karon na tapos ko. Matapos matawag ko si mo. Okay. Okay. Another one. Amo lang ni isliman balangi mo nga term sa akong tangkuloy ka man nga midya. Inelain na naman bala. Si 362 ni Blau. Pirmi lang ka tangkuloy. Migore, good evening. Monitor lang ko di sa San Lorenzo Homes, Barangay Tangob. Gadaguob di, pre. Albi kami di. Sige, tikalon ginibla si Gabriel Ipilga mo. Sige. Ronda rin mayong gabi, si Bing wala na patugsiling, subong. Wala na patugsiling, subong pantog sinaw na lang. Pantog sinaw na. 378. Ay mga langit sige, bawari pa ubaw na no ni pagka maubos ta ni 679. Tuturi matugda lang ko parti kapon nga topiko parti sa cooler mo nga kayamanan ni Marcos. Nakakadto na sila sa mansyon ni Marcos. Mga tikalon wala nang kapalapit sa Marcos family. Wala gani ka gasugid nga bodyguard ko ni Marcos. Kita mo si 313 niyaw. Gain sister nga ni siya mo. Bodyguard siya gali ni Marcos. Tawag ka pagidliwat ata. Ati iya man na, ano mo na kay siyang nagambal nga bodyguard siya ni Marcos?
Barangay ko rin, Ilocos Norte, sa mansyon ni Marcos, Igadalan. Malay sa kada mansyon isa, dito sa tindahan.
Ti bodyguard gid siya ganin ni Marcos.
Hindi, bodyguard ni Mamang.
Sige. Sige. Oh.
Nakagdala mo nga dahil sa ito kang basin mo nga takuloy ka nga, ano?
Oo, amo na mo.
Ang kasi mo?
Oo, tangkuloy.
Uy, kung ino ka nga, chika, ikaw ang takuloy, hindi siya ng daray.
Wado.
Ay na,
Hindi na pag...
Wasan ni kulang na yan. Ni kulang sa katigya, kung ino ka man. Walang dahil nagar ko.
Hindi na pag...
Takuloy, pagkakuloy ni Mamang, kagsami sa kasikalong mga digad, di Mamang makot.
Sige. Okay. Si Tuto, yung mangaway na yan. Hindi ka mangaway to. Okay lang na siya. Iya man na diretso kung ano ang iya. Daw gina-express yan ang iya expression bla. Migure bisan anon tan nila tanan, wala sila padaog kay Pacquiao. Kay bisan diin sikat si Pacquiao. Roger ni. Oh. 864. Amo na mayo. Butang ngalan. 879. Good PM, Ray. Mapre na lang ko. Nga tagaan ka mo maayong alawas. Kay wala na gid kami asahan nga mabulig sa amonsap. Ay, waay na gid. Amo gani ginapukaw ko dabala si Kwan. Si konsihal bla, hindi tumana nyo lang bala ang Kwan bla kay ipasaka tana sa kay tiray. Hindi ka mo magkadula sang pag-asa kay man nga kwarta nyo na ara ng kwarta. Pangitaon talang kung diin ang kwarta. Hindi na pwede nga kung nakabaton ikaw sang sapwan, hindi ka makabaton sa sapto. Hindi na pwede. Hindi na pwede. Kabaton ka gani sa puan, sapto pa, di ba? No? Amo nang kwanda, hindi na pwede. Pangitaon ta mi Diyos. Siling ko gani, pablatter ka mo, sulat ka mo, no? Sa address sa kapitan, address sa DILG, address sa DSWD, no? Para matanawan ta, ipareceive lang bala. Ipareceive lang. Kay katuhon tang CIDG Bacolod naman di. Kanami na yang taga CIDG Bacolod, di gina-entertainarya ginamo. Kanami gina. May mga matarong da nga mga pulis nga nagabulig sa aton. No? Tingwain nyo lang. Hindi ka mo kay why man nada ang kwarta sa kay Kapitan Talamundao, ano na? Oh. Kap, abi subaybayin na lang mga pumuluyo yun eh. Amakon mo 326 pa ni ka mga kwan niyo, ginkwaan, butang-butang sang sa pirol. Tapos why manggali nagtulupa sa ilang kwarta. Tiara dagani si Dindo Ramos, konsihal na siya, di ba? Konsihal Dindo, arada sa ugsaran mo, kaingod mo ni, mga pumuluyo mo ni, hindi ni pagbabayi. Hindi pagbabayi, konsihal ka pa naman, Sus Maria Josep. Kung ara ko dawal datihon, tagid ka da permi, konsihal mo. Kadtuon tagid ka daya. Dali pa madala ko sang migapon. Ang balo, ginapukaw ko ang blatyagon ni Konsihal Dindo Ramos. At ipanon niya ni, kay problema ni sang iya pumuluyo. O, di ba? Dako mabulig da ni Konsihal Dindo Ramos mo. Dako gida yung bulig ya. Bisan ni mahimo lang sa resolusyon, nga naga-request nga kung mahimo, mag-a-attend sa isa. Hello, sir? Ha? O ga program pa bang ko? Oo, ga program pa ko sa pala size. Ate, sige. Gabulo bisyo ako ni sa ka SIM card mo. Ate, sige. Okay. Nablos ko. Amo nabla. Kada ko sang mabulig, konsihal sa abogado pa siya. Former kapitan kada. Konsihal Dindo Ramos, palihog lang. Ati pa naman eh. Kung ano ang transaksyon subong nga ginakonsentrahan mo, paini man ni abi konsihalo. Paini man ni abi. Mga pobre ini nga mga tawo nga nagahangla kag nagapabot pa oh. Imagine na bala. Kapos lang gina. Mas manami da kung ipatawag mo sa isa ka public hearing, patawag mo na sa konsiyo, pa-explicar, ining si Ryan na, sang DSWD, nga angagin pa submit niya sang payroll si Kapitan. Pagkatapos, wa'y kwarta. O, dako na yung anomalya na, dako nga pamangkot na. Di ba? Migo konsyal, miguay kita, ako yung respeto, gid ko sa imo. Kagalin sang unay na miguay kita. Tinalainan ko nga ara kada, konsyal ka pa naman, abogado ka pa naman, tinga nag-amon ni ang mga tao da. Kagapin pa nakaagi ikaw kapitan eh. Kaagi ka kapitan, di ba? Kung masako ka karon sa pagdihon sang kun anon dira nga mga bagay, sa pila ka mga transaksyon sa syudad sang Bacolod, palihog abi konsyal abi Dindo Ramos. Balikda ni Abio. Tagai man ni Abi Chimpo Abio. 326 ni ka mga pumuluyo da. Way pa kabaton sang second trans. Kaluyo man ni sila oh. Konsyal, maluoy ka. No? Wala sige. Pangabay mo lang akong konsyal lang. Mga yugid ko pasensya konsyal kung nga ang kwan ko kay gatandugan niya nga akon balatyagon nga kon sa bagay. Ano kuya man? Kalayo sa akon, kag-announcer lang kuya. Isa lang kuya ka-entertainers. Ikaw ya, abogado, former barangay captain ka. Konsyal ka pa naman subong sudad sa Bacolod. Huwag kagid sa may distribuer. Samtang ako ya, ginaampuan sang tao di kung anong mahimo ko. Naga-extend gani ko sa akon nga gamay nga mabulig sila. O much more ikaw. Inatandog ko lang balatyagon mo konsyal Dindo Ramos. Gabay pa nga makabati ka. Good PM Sir Ray. Assalam alaikum po ang greetings nga mga Muslim. Meaning peace be with you. Listening from Pontevedra. Okay. Ang aton daga ni background chip thank you gid taga Pontevedra 367 yeah 367 okay may mga komentar na guro basi ko ni si Councilor Dindo Ramos na mati ang tabi 018 Rondary good PM tama kagid nga pro-receive gid na ang 3rd district kumparan mo progressive ni guro. Ada may caller sige. Hello, mayong gabi.
Hello, sir. Mayong gabi, sir. Hindi ko lang paglawag nga lang ko. Abi mo, taga-Granada ko, sir.
Okay. Oo.
Si Dindo Ramos.
Oo.
Isang pandemic, hindi mo na din makita sa Granada.
Uy,
Pakita lang na sila, abi mo ko na, no? Pakita lang sila po na, no? Kung na, pag halimbawa eleksyon na, mangumpanya na sila. Uy, sila yung malasakit sa Granada, ya.
ay nano naman.
Oo, pwede sila malasakit sa Granada. Siya taga-Granada na siya.
Oo, gani. Tika former kapitan na dasya mo.
Oo, pareho kami nakapurok 5. Purok 6 na sila, purok 5 kami.
Oh, lapit lang gani, gali.
Wait lang, why gitya, sir, why Mario, sir. Ambot, natingala ko nga, gadalaog pa na sila.
Tingnan mo na gani, kay tungod bala, gadaog na sila tungod ginataw-tawan kita sang kwarta, ginabakal ang aton prinsipyo. Tunan ta na ang aton kaugalingon, subong sir, nga hindi ta magbaton, kung hindi kita kasaw sa iya, hindi pagbato na. Di ba?
Hindi nila ko mabakal. Hindi na kami bakal siyang pinapabakal sa kanila. Pabakal ang gusto kong butuon.
Oo, amo nang manami. I-practice na gina subong sir. I-practice na gina subong. Grabe na gina.
Uy na siya malasakit. Sa Granada. Isipan lang, project ng gymnasium na sa amon daw. Renovation na. 5 ka milyon na. Grabing tulo.
Ha? 5 ka milyon?
5 ka milyon na, sir. 5 ka milyon na. Renovation na 5 ka milyon.
Renovation lang?
Oo, 5 kamilyo na. Grabe ng tulo na. Bantay ka ba? Ikaw na yung bala, sir.
Kudaki abi, kudaki, dasong magulan blang, aga bugawa.
Sang una, si Monico, sir. Abi mo ko naman si Monico, sang una, nagkuhan pa na. Nagkadto ginadisa.
Oo.
Sige nga, timingon ko magtigululan.
Oo.
Ang tawon ko, gate yung tama, gate ang hambal nyo. Oo. Iwag siya nagsala. Ay, salamat tulo kita. Grabe yung tulo lang eh. O,
Tiwa-
renovation, 5 milyon.
Si Kapitan Talimudaw ay nagreklamo sina. Sino nagpaubra sina?
May kontraktor na, may kontraktor.
Oh, di dapat na reklamo na sang kapitan da. Ano ang council? Way gagi council da?
Ay, sus Mario, council namin. Council mo liga, gakuha lang honorarium.
Ay na, ano man anong kalaw. Ay,
Gakuha lang yung honorarium, mga council, mga kuha naman, mga kagawad naman. Oo, tapos kakuha nila ng kuhan, may aragay kami nga kagawad, diri nga, upod nyo lang sa media eh.
Agle?
Si Castanyo bla.
O ti, pisan man siguro?
Tiga ko,
Pisan?
Pisan magkuha sa honorarium eh.
Wari man niya, si sir man niya.
Totoo din na nga to. Kaway ko yung gakwalay ko istorya ako
Hindi
na.
na.
Gakwala na siya honorarium. Ang abi mo si Castanyo na sir, ang yan nga, kuha na sa Granada, makuha honorarium kag mag-attend sa sesyon nila. Amo lang mo hindi mo na makita di. Hindi pagbaylo yung
Tigin pa daog nyo man.
Tawad mo.
Tigin pa daog nyo man. Kamu man nagapili dahil, di
Ay,
ba?
sir, way ko na yung buto siya.
Ay, gali.
Ito na yung buto siya. Kaya kabalo ko mo taga-Granada ko sa mo, kabalo ko kung sino ang tao nga kagawad din nga nagsiservisyo. Amo na yung ginapang buto ko.
Okay.
Pero kung hindi sila nakita ko nakaservisyo din sa Granada, hindi ko sila nilalagay sa ano ko, hindi ko na, iway ko lang sila nabutang sa akon nga kuwan. Sa akon nga, ano na, baluta, ginabakantihan ko na.
Gali.
Hindi na. Grabe na yan, ang mga kagawad naman dahil. Huwag ginagakunluwa lang honorarium. Kapapirma ba ganyan na sa balay nila? May pilirmahan sila?
Gali. Baka tawag gali.
Nakatuhan pa na ito sa balay nila magpirma.
Ay, grabe, no? Daw susunod nga ko, no?
Amo na ka. Si Dindo, grabe ka tayo. Di po gari, taga-Granada na siya, pero...
Sige, sir.
Okay.
Okay, sir. Sige.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, good sir. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Granada na to nagpautwas ang iyang ibubunot.
Yeah.
Nga gawon ta niyo kay way nagid kita time mo. Sa cooler mo na nga taga Granada dapat leksyon na sa inyo kag taga Bacolodnon. Hindi na kamo hagay ka pabakal sang inyo buto. Dapat pinsaron nyo nga ang sa 2,500 tatlo ka tuig na kita gaantos. Grabe. Ay, solid na ang okay. Si Tanyo na solid gina nga bing. Kita nyo, ila survey sa radyo, untat nila, kay daw baldagid si Bing. Bing niya, wala, bad words. Basihan mo lang, hambal ka cooler mo nga, taga-Granada siya. Okay. 9:06, good PM rin, mga nabaksinated na nga ang nagakapatay Manaw. Ano ang rason? Ginaestudyohan Manila nga nagakapatay ang wala mabaksin COVID na dayon. Sige, yan kwan partis COVID naman ni 906. Okay. 906, another 1799. Kung ang vaccine under clinical trials or trial taman ang aton lawas, total kung may adverse side effect gidman sa aton lawas, suri ka lang. Uti, patay kaya. Kanami sa panong daon ni CB99 niyo. Sige, sige, okay. Rondare, good PM, may ginapangatag, di bugas si Fred sa tangob. Daw manghud lang ka NFA nga ginapangatag ni Mamang. Wala kuya ginbaton niya. No, sige. Sige. Okay, bawara pagido na no. Grabe. Gadulugang pagido. Why not a time? Why not a time? 2 minutes more to go mga kabyanan. No? Good PM, insakto ginto ang last caller mo, Sir Attorney Councilor Dindo Ramos, sa subong almost 15 years na, ginpatulog ka unresolved niya na ang administrative case ang 6 corrupt, abusive, and arrogant barangay 38 official nga gin-enjoy pa sang mga anomalya hasta subong. Wow, grabe no. Grabe yung mga observation kag kuan sa mga tao. RC 1 to 3. Sino nung San Miguel congressman ta? Do masugot ko na yaw. Layo gid sa patad ko ng mga gasataya na ininto anay ubray na, no? Isyo nyo, balik-balik, wala iban, imo programa, wala man na, may pamati. 362. Okay sa mga nabilin di, 5 lang kamo kabilog, pila? 5, anom, okay. Buwas ko lang ni basahon, ha? Why nagita time mo? Amakon mo.
Sa kilid di wala na tinir.
Ang 34 nga narehistro, gindugangan nyo pa di pila ni. Ay, 40 tahon, sobra ba? Pero sige lang, thank you, Gida. Kwenta pa na mga kabyanan, sa gihapon ko bus ninyong alaga, Dre Alejandrino, upod sa kaya... Engineer Glistakang, Chief Engineer Glistakang, Engineer Nonong de los Reyes, upod sa kay Engineer Ray Ikang, ang aton nga Sergeant at Arms, SP Otin Nones Saldavea. Real Andrino po, mayang gabi. Bye-bye. Buwas na naman.
Lakat sa gobyerno, corona nga sakit.
Ako si Vicente Francisco, 49 years old, taga Tugigaraw. Kadalasan kasi puro lang ako sa tapat ng computer. So kukunti lang yung tulog. So yung stress sa mata talagang napakahirap. Talagang kawawa ang mata. Laking tulong ng Ibery. Mula nung nag-Ibery ako, halos wala nang gamit yung salamin. Kaya salamat talaga Ibery. 6 na oras wala akong salamin. Diretso ako sa computer.
Ang iBerry ay mabibili sa Mercury Drug at sa mga suking butika sa inyong lugar.
Mahalagang paalala, ang iBerry ay hindi gamot at hindi dapat gamiting panggamot sa anumang uri ng sakit.
DYKB Radio Ronda.
Where we go above and beyond the headlines. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Tonight on the program, the Chinese Coast Guard blocking and firing water cannons at Philippine boats in Ayungin Shoal in yet another illegal move by Beijing in the West Philippine Sea. Bongbong Marcos taps a veteran lawyer who served his father, the late dictator Ferdinand Marcos, as the presidential aspirant now faces 4 petitions questioning his 2022 bid. And a day before releasing her new album, award-winning singer-songwriter Adele debuts another song online. We begin with yet another incident in the West Philippine Sea. The government condemning China's move to block and use water cannons on 2 Philippine supply boats in Ayungin Shoal, an act caught on camera. The Foreign Affairs Department calls it illegal and says the Chinese vessels must back off and leave the area. Our Tristan Odalo has more.
This was the footage shared by National Security Advisor Hermogenes Esperon taken on November 16. Filipino crew resisting orders from the Chinese Coast Guard vessels. A few seconds later, the crew on board supply boats were blocked on their way and encountered water cannon. In a series of tweets on Thursday, the DFA says that the supply boats were transporting food to military personnel in Ayungin Shoal. Also known as Second Thomas Shoal, it is part of the country's exclusive economic zone and the Kalayaan group of islands in Palawan province. No one was hurt in the incidents, but the supply boats aborted their mission because of the encounter with the Chinese Coast Guard. Foreign Affairs Secretary Teddy Boy Locsin Jr. has conveyed in strongest terms to Chinese Ambassador Wang Zhilian in the Chinese Foreign Ministry the country's outrage, condemnation, and protest. Esperon, also the chairman of the National Task Force West Philippine Sea, said the supply mission will resume regardless of the incident. He adds the Philippines will continue to protest China's illegal acts.
Dalawa yung nag-block, and then yung pangatlo, that was the one that water cannon the two for 1 hour.
The DFA also reminds China that an attack on any public vessel could fall under the provisions of the Mutual Defense Treaty between the Philippines and the United States. But for an international and security expert, invoking the treaty in this incident is still a gray area.
Gray area phenomenon kasi hindi siya leading to military conflict kumbaga law enforcement aspect yan. So mahirap pang i-invoke yung Mutual Defense Treaty kaya dapat mapag-usapan din yan ng Pilipinas at ng Estados Unidos kung anong situations at anong occasions ang pwedeng ma-invoke yung Mutual Defense Treaty.
The government is not sending Navy ships to Ayungin, but Coast Guard ships and Bureau of Fisheries vessels will be on standby. Apart from the blocking and water cannon incident, Esperon also raises concerns on the increasing and quote unusual number of Chinese militia vessels in Ayungin Shoal and Pag-asa Island.
Just last month, the Philippine government also filed a series of diplomatic protests against China for issuing hundreds of radio challenges to Philippine vessels conducting maritime patrols in the West Philippine Sea. Tristan Odalo, CNN Philippines.
Now, when asked for comment, the Chinese embassy here in Manila says its foreign ministry is expected to release a response soon. The local government of Kalayaan municipality in Palawan also condemns the incident in Ayungin Shoal. Ayungin Shoal is part of the Kalayaan group of islands in the province. It lies 105 nautical miles from Palawan, well within the Philippine exclusive economic zone. It's also part of the country's continental shelf. But China is still claiming Ayungin as well as the rest of the West Philippine Sea. The Philippine Navy deliberately ran the BRP Sierra Madre aground in 1999 after China occupied the nearby Mischief Reef. The Sierra Madre is now the only thing keeping China from occupying Ayungin Shoal. Lawmakers also up in arms about China's recent aggression in the shoal. Senator Richard Gordon says he supports the Foreign Affairs Department's condemnation and protest against the illegal acts of the Chinese Coast Guard. Senator Risa Ontiveros shares the same view, saying what happened is an unacceptable violation of the country's sovereign rights and jurisdiction. She calls on Malacanang to strongly condemn the incident. Vice presidential aspirant Senator Kiko Pangilinan, meanwhile, opposes moves to occupy Philippine territories, as well as efforts to sell power and telecommunications assets to what he says are businessmen from the mainland. Other senators running for the country's top posts next year had this to say.
Satisfied, ano? Kaya ang aming maging polisiya dito, makipag-alliance tayo doon sa malalakas na bansa, yung mga militarily strong countries, like meron man tayo existing mga bilateral agreements with them. Umasa tayo doon sa tinatawag na balance of power, na makipag-alyansa tayo, hindi yung parang push over na lang tayo.
Tinataboy, may nasaktan o wala, baka panahon na talaga na medyo, hindi naman parang veiled threat, no? Pero dapat siguro i-highlight natin uli ang mga provisions ng Mutual Defense Treaty. Sapagkat yun ang panlaban dyan eh. Ang alam ko, meron doon na sinasabi na pagka tayo nagkaroon ng kahit a form of aggression, papasok yung the Mutual Defense Treaty will kick in.
Another presidential aspirant, Vice President Leni Robredo, says the latest harassment by Chinese Coast Guard vessels emphasizes the need to show a stronger stance in asserting Philippine sovereignty. Another hopeful, Manila Mayor Isko Moreno, says that if elected president, he will be fearless in fighting for the country's territorial waters and at the same time will be fair with discussions and the management of the situation on both sides. The United States reaffirming its support to the country's arbitral award that invalidates China's claims in disputed waters. That is according to a statement from the U.S. State Department at the 9th Bilateral Strategic Dialogue earlier this week. Washington also standing by the application of the Mutual Defense Treaty with the Philippines in case of an armed attack on the country's forces or vessels in the South China Sea. The bilateral talks concluded with the signing of a joint vision statement to strengthen cooperation and relations. The presidential bid of the late dictator's son and namesake is shaping up to be the most legally challenged in recent election history. Bongbong Marcos is now facing 4 petitions to stop him from joining the race to Malacanang. As Melissa Lopez reports, Marcos also hired a veteran lawyer who was his father's Solicitor General.
Former Senator Bongbong Marcos's attempt to bring his family back to Malacanang is facing legal hurdles, with 4 petitions now blocking his presidential dreams. But his lawyers missed the November 16 deadline to formally respond to the first of the pleas to cancel his certificate of candidacy. They asked for an additional week to prepare their answer. On Thursday morning, Marcos lawyer Vic Rodriguez claimed that COMELEC has already granted the extension hours before the poll body's 2nd Division made its decision.
It was approved yesterday, and we were given an extension of time to file our answer to the petition. The first petition, I think, the cancellation of the COC, I think we were granted 7 days from notice.
Sabi sila nasabi, wala naman silang karapatan magsabi niyan. Till the promulgation comes out, you have nothing. You have speculation. That's all you have. Pinaka-importante is we wait for what the COMELEC promulgates.
This is not the first time COMELEC spokesman James Jimenez called out the Marcos camp for making inaccurate claims. The Marcos team also hired veteran lawyer Estelito Mendoza, now 91, to defend Bongbong Marcos against such petitions. He was a longtime Solicitor General of the late President Ferdinand Marcos during martial law. A preliminary conference on the case filed by lawyer Theodore Te is set on November 26th, while other petitions await action. There's another plea to cancel Bongbong's COC filed by independent presidential hopeful Tiburcio Marcos. A disqualification case filed by 18 survivors of human rights abuses during martial law, and fellow presidential bet Danilo Lihay-Lihay, who wants to declare Bongbong a nuisance candidate. They all stemmed from Marcos's conviction for not filing his income tax returns for 4 years, which petitioners say banned him from holding any government post for life. COMELEC has yet to resolve all 4 petitions. Although the complaints vary, they all seek to stop Bongbong's presidential ambition. As for the Marcos camp, they dismissed the petitions as nothing but black propaganda. Melissa Lopez, CNN Philippines.
The COMELEC 2nd Division gave Marcos until Monday, November 22nd, to respond to the first petition to cancel his candidacy. But Attorney Te, the petitioner in the case, said he will contest the poll body's decision. New petitions against Bongbong Marcos come on the 5th anniversary of the burial of his father, Ferdinand Marcos, at the libingan ng mga bayani in Taguig. Martial law victims and human rights groups staged a protest there today after holding a caravan from the University of the Philippines in Diliman. They protested the presidential run of the late dictator's son and namesake, as well as his tandem with vice presidential aspirant Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte Carpio. They also rejected the notion that the older Marcos or the elder Marcos was a hero. Lawmaker and senatorial aspirant Nery Colmenares, who was one of the protesters, says anyone who denies that Marcos Sr. was, quote, a corrupt and fascist dictator does not deserve to be president of the country. Marcos Sr. was buried at the libingan ng mga bayani in 2016, a longtime wish that President Rodrigo Duterte granted. The burial had sparked outrage and nationwide protests, with martial law victims and groups vowing to never forget Marcos's iron rule. And what's so special about a president's first 100 days in office? This usually takes on a symbolic significance to mark how the country's new leader is doing, the speed by which he or she delivers on campaign promises, and how he or she is addressing the most pressing issues one by one. 5 presidential aspirants presented that plan to business leaders today. But as Anjo Alimario tells us, 2 candidates were no-shows.
5 presidential hopefuls make a pitch to business leaders that their economic agenda will bring recovery once they get elected into office. In recorded messages, Manila Mayor Isko Moreno, Senators Bongo, Panfilo Lacson, and Manny Pacquiao, and Vice President Elena Robredo took on the challenge in the Philippine Business Conference Expo's Presidential's Forum. Moreno says he will devote the first 2 years of his administration to reinforcing the health system to best cope with the pandemic. He'll push for lower taxes on fuel and electricity, address the housing backlogs, and give equal opportunity and level playing field in the business sector.
I will be fearless confronting problems. We will be fair in addressing it.
For Go, why fix if it ain't broken? He vows to continue the Duterte administration's programs and will concentrate on doubling malasakit centers or the chain of one-stop-shop medical and financial centers nationwide, identify 10 million poorest Filipinos and give them cash aid and jobs. He also wants to establish a regulatory body for the franchise industry.
Hindi ko hahayaan na masayang lang ang lahat ng pagod at efforts ng Duterte administration. Hindi natin sisirain ang legacy ni Pangulong Duterte.
Lacson is banking on his track record as a senator. He says his administration will spend more for the right priorities to reboot the economy. There will be a geotagging system to provide data for all public infrastructure projects. He also promises to clean the agriculture department from top to bottom ranks.
If I win, I want to be remembered as someone who won the election in spite of being the most boring candidate who insisted on campaigning on hard data of issues.
The People's Champ says he will send corrupt officials to jail. He says he'll also push for lowering of corporate income tax to 15%, address power supply and internet connectivity. On agriculture, he believes the country should be exporting and not importing foods such as rice.
Gusto ko po maalala ko ng taong bayan na ang Manny Pacquiao nagmamahal ng tunay sa ating mga kababayan, nagmamahal ng tunay sa ating bansa.
Robredo touts her kalayaan sa COVID-19 plan. For those who lost their jobs during the pandemic, she'll create a national unemployment insurance program that will provide financial assistance. On infrastructure, Robredo says the immediate goal is to create a nationwide active transport infrastructure in most traffic-congested areas. She vows to double the budget for education and agriculture.
A vice president who transformed her office mandate and did not allow the limitations to keep her from doing the work that matters. Someone who rose above any challenge, any difficulty, and always answered the call to serve, no matter the cost.
Survey frontrunner former Senator Bongbong Marcos was a no-show. Calio de Guzman, however, was not invited in the forum. Anjo Alimario, CNN Philippines.
When we return, the Senate suspends sessions until Monday after Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, who was there Wednesday night, tested positive for COVID-19. How will this affect deliberations on the proposed 2022 budget? And we take a look at the preparations in various universities ahead of the reopening of face-to-face classes. Stay tuned.
Manong Joe po.
At Ate Maita.
Ngayong November, tumaas ang overall electricity rates ng 33 centavos per kilowatt hour. Bunga ito ng maintenance shutdown ng Malampaya Gas Facility na naging sanhi ng dagdag singil sa WESM at paggamit ng mas mahal na alternative fuel ng mga gas plants. Kaya andito po kami para tulungan kayo mag-manage ng konsumo ngayong bare months.
Lumalamig na ang panahon at madalas ang ulan, pero di kailangan magtiis na maligo ng malamig na tubig. Heto ang bright idea namin mula kay Engineer Joel.
Kaya ng budget maligo ng mainit, mapa-deep type water heater, electric kettle, o shower heater. Pero payo namin, mag-shower heater. Pinakamura, pinakamadali, at pinaka-safe dahil iwas paso or electric shocks.
Hanggang sa susunod na Meralco Advisory!
Love is all about time.
Di minamadali ang pagpapasarap. Like the love in every Pure Foods ready to eat. Slow cooked and ready in 8 minutes. Para may time ka sa mga mahal mo. Because love takes time.
Kabilang ba kayo sa mga Pilipino na nahihirapan sa mga transaksyon dahil wala o kulang ang mga valid IDs?
Huwag nang mag-alala dahil narito na po ang PhilSys, ang identification system ng bawat Pilipino.
Para sa Step 1 registration, pumunta lang sa register.philsys.gov.ph para makapag-register sa PhilSys online.
Ito ang PhilSys,
ID natin to.
Discovery Plus is here! Welcome to your new home of larger-than-life entertainment and unforgettable characters. Subscribe now at 129 pesos per month.
Bawat patak may sarap, may lakas, sulit. Red Horse Beer.
Residents enjoy easier access to the kind of water we all deserve. This is thanks to SMC Infrastructure's Bulacan Bulk Water Supply System project, a treatment facility that provides affordable and potable bulk water to the 24 municipalities of Bulacan. It produces an average volume of 160 million liters per day for around 165,000 households. It also has a maximum capacity of 388 million liters per day. This meets the increasing water demand of Bulaqueños. The project also cuts down the use of deep wells, helping mitigate the environmental impact of excessive groundwater extraction. The Bulacan Bulk Water Supply System project provides Bulaqueños the affordable and reliable potable water supply they need.
Welcome back to Newsnight. While experts note the continuous drop in COVID-19 cases, the country records over 300 deaths for the second straight day. The health department says 305 people died from the virus. However, only 36 of these occurred this month. 44%, or about 134 fatalities, were recorded in October, while 35%, or 107, in September. The DOH says the late reporting was because of delays in encoding. Total deaths are now over 46,400. The DOH also reports nearly 1,300 fresh cases, pushing the nationwide tally to over 2.8 million. But the agency says the positivity rate slightly fell to 3.4%. This is the sixth straight day the figure has been below 5%. The World Health Organization says countries or regions may reopen if they are able to keep their positivity rate below 5% for at least 14 days. Meantime, over 1,900 people got well from the virus. This means 97.5% or more than 2.7 million have recovered. 4 laboratories failed to submit data. Deliberations on the proposed 2022 national budget face a setback as the Senate suspends sessions until Monday. That's after Defense Secretary Delfin Lorenzana, who was present during a hearing on Tuesday, not Wednesday, as we said earlier, again tested positive for COVID-19. Lorenzana's swab test result came out yesterday. The official, who is fully vaccinated, says he has no symptoms and will undergo another test in the coming days after observing his condition. Lorenzana arrived on Sunday from a trip to Poland. He did not undergo quarantine as Poland belongs to green list countries. Disinfection is underway in the Senate building. There will also be tighter rules for visitors. Senators underwent antigen tests yesterday after Lorenzana's results came out. Senator Migsubidi says those who actively participated on the floor had negative antigen results, but they will still undergo quarantine and RT-PCR testing on Sunday. Senator Joel Villanueva, who says he tested negative in the antigen test, was seen shaking hands with Lorenzana in a photograph the senator himself provided. Experts have discouraged shaking hands to minimize contact with others and prevent the spread of the virus. Meanwhile, Senate President Tito Soto says they will work fast to finish the budget debates on time. Based on the budget calendar, the bicameral conference must begin on the first week of December to transmit the budget to the Office of the President by December 17th.
So what happened? We will have to try Monday, finish everything until the wee hours of the morning. But if we do have to extend until Tuesday, what we would need would be a double time work by the LDRMO. We were supposed to propose amendments next week. So, bibilisan na lang din yan. Medyo mag-overtime na rin.
Soto says they may extend until December 21st if they do not meet the deadline. Also, in December, some universities may start welcoming students again after the government allowed limited in-person classes in areas under alert levels 1, 2, and 3. And how are preparations coming along? Our AC Nichols visited one university in Manila where inoculations have begun for students and almost all of its staff have been vaccinated.
Architecture student Celeron Lim is back in the campus for the first time in a while. He is here to get vaccinated against COVID-19.
Kung mag-aantay ako ng iba, so matatagalan. So ito, sakto, yung sarili ko pang school yung nag-provide. Excited na ako mag-face-to-face para makapaglabas-labas na rin pag vaccinated na.
In preparation for the safe resumption of face-to-face classes, the University of the East partnered with the Philippine Red Cross to get more of its students and faculty vaccinated. The university says 98% of its faculty are fully vaccinated. Now, they want to ensure all students get inoculated as well, as majority want to go back to the classroom setup.
Andun yung nakikita nating college life, yung campus life, and of course yung education na mabibigay sa atin na face-to-face setup.
There are physical preparations as well. Classrooms and other common areas have been retrofitted for the new normal. Signs and posters reminding people to follow health protocols are put up all over the campus. Dentistry students are set to return in these laboratories by next week. Some dental chairs are covered in plastic to ensure physical distancing. The Pandemic Task Force recently approved the Commission on Higher Education's proposal to resume physical classes for all courses in areas under low alert levels. A 50% indoor venue capacity must be followed.
Decided na rin sa IATF na pagka-alert level, titingnan namin na alert level 2 or level 1, we will be more flexible na the decision will be with the regional chair at saka DepEd and also with the LGUs. So yun ang tinitingnan namin na most probably yung future opening natin will be more massive.
AC Nichols, CNN Philippines.
Is the definition of fully vaccinated changing? For wealthier nations, people may now need up to 3 doses instead of just 2 to be considered fully inoculated. Many European countries are toughening rules on the unvaccinated and mandating booster shots amid case surges fueled by the Delta variant. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson says a 3rd dose is vital to prevent restrictions from being re-implemented. France will require boosters for the elderly beginning December 15th. In Ireland, a midnight curfew is in effect in bars, restaurants, and nightclubs to reduce infections. Now, that's despite the country having one of the highest vaccination rates globally at 94%. The Irish government plans to offer 3rd shots to those with underlying health conditions and those aged 50 and above.
About 5% are not fully vaccinated, but about 50% of people in hospital and ICU are not fully vaccinated. So even that 5% can create a lot of difficulty. And then also, it's very evident now that immunity from the vaccines is waning. And we can see that happening across Europe. And that's why we're going to need to give people a 3rd dose. And that's what we're pushing ahead with now at present.
Germany, meanwhile, may be next to impose new measures. The nation reported more than 65,000 infections in the last 24 hours, its highest daily case count since the pandemic began. Germany has one of the lowest immunization rates in Western Europe at just over 67%. Global experts, however, fear the reliance on additional doses. The World Health Organization chief says it is, quote, a scandal that 6 times more booster shots are being administered daily globally than primary doses in low-income nations. Up ahead, music sensations BTS and Coldplay are set to share the stage at this year's American Music Awards. And a sneak peek at Adele's newest heartbreak anthem in her latest album. Details next.
Make a splash at mealtime with Pure Food Seafood Delights. 100% real seafood goodness. Ready to serve in minutes. Pure Food Seafood Delights. Eat so easy.
Friends, try nito. Vet-approved Nutri-Chunks in lamb flavor. Good active boost and prebiotics na pampalisto. Made with real lamb goodness. With essential nutrients to help keep them strong, healthy and happy. Listo, ganado sa Nutri-Chunks.
When you need to be tough outside, you gotta be clean inside. Petron Diesel Max keeps your engine clean and protects it against corrosion, so nothing gets in the way of your engine's power. That's why it's the most widely used diesel among four-wheel users in urban Philippines. Petron Diesel Max. Tough outside, clean inside.
We'll be making a strawberry martini, a great way to level up a special occasion. Here's what you'll be needing for this cocktail. For the tools, you'll need... We start by adding ice into our mixing glass, and in goes your GSM Premium Gin. And then we add our dry vermouth. Finally, the strawberry syrup for some sweetness. Now take your bar spoon. Once all blended nicely, grab your strainer and pour your cocktail into your martini glass. Garnish this with some fresh strawberries. There you have it, your strawberry martini made with GSM Premium Gin.
Welcome back. Pop star pair Shawn Mendes and Camila Cabello have called it quits after 2 years of dating. Both singers posted on their Instagram stories saying that they will remain best friends even after the breakup. The two began the relationship in 2019 following the success of their hit collaboration, Señorita. Speaking of collaborations, it looks like BTS and Coldplay fans will finally get to see the two worldwide sensations perform together. The English band already played My Universe in a talk show last month, but back then BTS could only join them as holograms. This time, both groups are set to take on the American Music Awards stage with their chart-topping single in person. And there's more in store for the BTS Army. The K-pop group is also teaming up with rapper Megan Thee Stallion for a performance of Butter. The show airs next Monday, 9 a.m. Philippine time. And before we go, powerhouse vocalist Adele gave fans a taste of her next album a day before release. The British singer posted herself singing To Be Loved right from the comfort of her couch. It is one of 12 songs on her fourth studio album 30 that's set to come out tomorrow. Here's a sneak peek at Adele singing her heart-wrenching new track. Easy on Me, the first single off 30, dominated the Billboard Global 200 chart. It took the #1 spot for 4 weeks straight. It is 37 days before Christmas, and that is it for now. Join me again on News.ph at 7 p.m. I'm Pia Ontiveros for Newsnight, where we go above and beyond the headlines.
This program is brought to you by
It contains
Sumasayo ang RPN Radyo Ronda. RPN DYKB Radyo Ronda Bacolod. RPN branches nationwide. Pakulit sa paglilingkod sa sambayang Pilipino.
DYKB Bacolod, mas pinalawak, mas pinalakas. DYKB Radio Ronda.
So the daughter withdraws her candidacy for re-election as mayor, close on the heels of a drug raid that it turns out didn't target her information officer. Flies to a luxury island resort for a birthday party of the Speaker of the House, officially leaves her local party, hops on over to Cavite to be ninang sa kasal, even walking in on the arm of a man who's clear about his intentions to run for president.
I am running for president, full stop.
That Cavite pit stop was also where the daughter promptly swore allegiance to the political party of the father of the bride, which completely caught her father's political party, or at least one faction of it, off guard, leading them to having their presidential candidate, who said at the start he didn't look like a mockery, withdraw his bid the very next day.
This party decision nga. I was ordered by the party to withdraw. So, I have to withdraw.
All right.
And then their VP candidate withdrawing his own COC, only to file a COC for president with another political party, accompanied by the master he served for so long, whose political lieutenant announced the president, the incumbent one for the next 6 months still, would file his own COC for VP on D-Day.
Babalik presidente sa Monday para mag-file.
Are you running for senator? Lalagay ko na yung aming camera.
Vice President.
Which then begged the question, which got this strange reply in the form of another question.
I don't know, na-file ba?
And this didn't help either.
I have thousands of supporters who cried last October 8th, and I cannot find it in my heart to make them cry again on November 15th. After the deadline, the offer to run for vice president became an opportunity to meet you halfway,
leading the entire country to come to a screeching halt, just like those wild roller coaster rides where you're suspended at the highest point right before you plunge to the bottom of your upside down stomach. Because after all, Sunday was and is rest day, the day before Monday, D-Day, the day we were told everything would be clearer.
Lawyer Melchor Aranas, representing President Rodrigo Duterte, has also arrived, this time to submit the COC, President Rodrigo Duterte, as her substitute candidate.
Wala naman pong problema sa samahan siguro na mag-ama, no? Ang sinabi lang ng Presidente, hindi nagkonsulta si Mayor Sara sa kanyang mga political plans. Sabihin na lang natin na gaya ng kahit anong relasyong pamilya, minsan may tagpuhan, pero wala pong kaduda-duda, nagmamahalan po mag-ama.
We've said this before and we'll say it again. Politics is a favorite Pinoy pastime. Next to basketball, boxing.
The new Miss Universe is...
and beauty pageants. But in beauty pageants, if the title holder can't do the job, the first runner-up gets it. In professional boxing, you're given 8 seconds to get back on your feet or you're out. And in basketball, the rules on substitution and overtime can't be bent or broken. Can you think of any other election that tops 2022? Good evening. I'm Pia Ontiveros. Welcome to your weekly political appointment fix, Politics as Usual. Our guests for tonight, two political science professors from UP Diliman, Dr. Maria Ella Atienza, and from De La Salle University, Dr. Julio Tiangqui. Good evening to you both, professors. So, how was your weekend? And when I say weekend, I'm referring to Saturday's happenings at the COMELEC, Balesin, Cavite, etc. No, nabusan na ba kayo ng words or adjectives to describe what you witnessed? Professor Tiangqui, kayo na po muna.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, the entire drama last week until the weekend, until early this week, was all sound and fury, signifying nothing. No, the much anticipated showdown for the presidency between Bongbong Marcos and Mayor Sara Duterte was a non-starter, and the promise Duterte versus Duterte showdown for the vice presidency, the big drama na inaabangan ng lahat ng tao, ay na-cancel, no? So again, we have all been taken for a ride, no? So it goes to show, no, how the Dutertes have really mastered the politics of mayhem and misdirection. No?
Mayhem and misdirection, pero pinag-usapan sila ng mabuti, ano? Professor Atienza, kayo po.
Yeah, hello, good evening, Pia. Actually, yung last few days, since last week up to yesterday, particularly last Saturday, parang nanonood ng sitcom. I was expecting a teledrama, but it's more like a sitcom, parang yung abangan ang susunod na kabanata. I was not surprised that Bongbong's still stuck with what he said, that he's running for president. And then, of course, Sarah decided to, the indications are pointing that she will file for vice president when Bongbong said that he will not give way. But what was surprising was after Bato withdrew last Saturday, Bongo filed but not as presidential candidate of PDP laban, but PDDS. So, ngayon lang na, sabi ko, ngayon ko lang yata narinig yung PDDS.
Yeah.
So,
Well, there's always a first time.
Talaga yung PDP laban. Diba? Parang kawawa yung PDP laban. It's the administration party, pero mukha siya talagang pinag-iwanan, i-abandon talaga. And then, of course, we were waiting kasi ang pinakapasabog last Saturday, tatakbong vice president, si President Duterte. So parang Duterte, and then suddenly, Monday, senator. Pero parang ang naging surprise, anticlimactic yung umaga kahapon, it was Parlade was the surprise, filing for president. So parang ganon ang ending.
So magandang telenovela pa rin, magandang sitcom pa rin. Kasi the most unexpected, yun ang nangyari. And the teaser didn't really give us the correct clues, no? And well, anyway, you were saying already, no? So Sarah running for VP, Bongo running for president, Digong running for senator. And then you have this, strange situation where Bongo Marcos's party says it is adopting Sarah as their VP candidate. And until now, walang sagot si Sarah. O ang lakas, because she filed with lakas, which is another thing that we need to try and digest. No, what's all this? No, what does it mean, Professor Tiangqui?
Well, Pia, mukhang nagkakasala sa labat na mga kwento nila, no? The objective of the game is actually to coordinate, no? If they want to consolidate their forces, no? But apparently, what's happening here is failure in coordination, no? Sabi nga ng iba, magtayo naman kayo ng Viber group, no? Para mag-usap-usap kayo sa mga
or pwede ring Telegram. Mas secure ang Telegram.
Ang nangyayari dito kasi, no, mukhang hindi na magkasundo-sundo yung mga original plans nila. The original plan, I think, was really to consolidate the forces of all administration candidates to come out with a tandem that is quite formidable. No?
Yeah.
But apparently, in doing
the president
so,
himself. The president himself was saying that, well, he expected Sarah to run for president, and then we're presuming that what he meant was Sarah president, and then si BBM mag-VP. Kaya lang, nag-hold fast si Bongbong na parang, no way, I'm running for president, di ba?
Well, actually, from the very beginning, there seems to be a division within the house of Duterte between the daughter, the favorite daughter, and the political son. No, so the father, was torn between pursuing, or supporting, the dreams of the daughter or the dreams of the political son. So it is a story of the personal, our political becoming personal, and the personal becoming political.
But we saw this, well, this was para bang a local politics scenario, right? I mean, Davao
Yes,
City in microcosm, no? But then,
Yeah,
para bang,
we usually see this in the local level. No, there have been several instances of members of the same political dynasties, competing with one another. So, but this takes the cake. No, this is the first time that such national level dynastic maneuverings have been seen by the public.
ano kayang problema nila with Bongo? You know, why don't Sarah and he see eye to eye? You know, what's going on? Is this Sarah, being the rebel and, challenging her father? What's going on? What do you think, Professor Atienza?
Well, of course, I think from the very beginning, of course, Sarah it will always be the daughter, but at the same time, she also wanted to present herself as not just the daughter of the president. She always emphasizes that she's more than just the daughter of the president. And at the same time also, I don't think she's very comfortable with the politicians surrounding her father. And in a sense, there were also certain groups within the official family of the president who were not very much willing to support her as their candidate. So hati actually yung support those people who were supporting the president or who are still supporting the president, not all of them are really very supportive of having the daughter as the successor of the president in terms of the candidate for president.
Yung mga sumusuporta kay presidente, parang hindi yung duling eh. Ano yung opposite ng duling, yung napagalan yung mata? Banlag, parang naging banlag kasi hindi na nila saan tayo titingin, parang ganun. Kanino ba tayo? Parang ganun. Okay, susunod ba tayo kay presidente o kay Sara? Tapos, well, there are a lot of presumptions here.
And may factions, di ba? May factions talaga siya. Malawak yung sumuporta kay President Duterte, but at the same time, iba-iba rin yung mga manok nila. And some are pro-Bongo, and some are also supporting other candidates, some are supporting Sara, and parang lagi sinasabi ni Sara, ayaw niya makialam sa PDP laban. She really refuses to be a member of PDP.
Yeah, that was another big surprise. Biglang lagla ka CMD. Parang, ano nangyari? Tuloy na naisip, hindi, magandang pangalan, title ng show. Ang saya-saya ng Philippine politika. Anyway, we're gonna have to take a very quick break lang. Politics as usual. We'll be right back. Please stay tuned. Welcome back. This is Politics as usual. Ang saya-saya. Our guests, two political professors, Professor Ella Atienza and Professor Julio Tihanqui. We're also, the way people are talking now and, given everything that's happened the last few days, what we're presuming here is that, we had the latest surveys, no? We're presuming that BBM will win. We're also presuming, because after all, like we said, survey frontrunner, we're presuming Sara is a winner, a runaway winner, perhaps. But mataas pa rin si survey si Tito Sen, si Senator Tito Soto, who is Senate President. We're also presuming na Digong, Rodrigo Duterte, will win as Senator. And because, a lot of people have so many conspiracy theories that, he's going to be Senate President. And then Sara will win as VP. And BBM will win as president. And if, but then, di ba, kung mag-Senate president kay, as who was it who said, I think it was Tito Sen himself who said, if you want to be Senate president, you have to win 13 votes, no? of the center. So, ang daming mga presumptions dito. What do we make of this, Professor Tiangki?
Well, of course, we have to understand that the high percentage of numbers that Bongbong Marcos got in the recent round of surveys, no, was a result of Mayor Sara not pursuing the presidency. No? So we have to understand that the vote base of both the Marcoses and the Dutertes are the same. No? And that when Sara Duterte initially put out, did not participate or did not file for the presidency, then it was quite logical that her votes would go to Bongbong Marcos. No? So that explains the high numbers of Bongbong. No? And of course, as a result, no, if Marcos would run, there should be a counter move, no, by the EDSA forces. No? So that really convinced Vice President Leni Robredo to finally decide to run, no? But not because of Bongbong, but because she has become the avatar of the EDSA narrative. No? So lahat to reaction sa isa't isa, no, sa mga galaw nila, no, at parang chess yan, no, nag-abang sila kung ano mga kilos ng kalaban nila at saka sila gumalaw, no. Kaso lang sa sobrang dami na naglalaro, medyo nagugulo na yung laro, no, at medyo nalilito na rin ang taong bayan kung saan patungo ito.
Iisa lang ba talaga ang support base ng mga Marcos at ng mga Duterte? Because I can sense that there's a fraction, we don't know how big, no, of the Marcos base that is not for Duterte, but they're solidly for BBM, di ba? Of course.
Oo, and we're seeing that right now, no, nagkakaroon na ng. So again, no, what I was saying earlier, no, it was an effort to forge what I usually call an anti-EDSA coalition, no, a coalition of all the political forces that were marginalized by the EDSA political elites, no. So but then again, they all have their own political interests, no. They all have their political agenda, no, and it's now we're now seeing that, no. So instead of uniting, no, like for example, no, from the very start, we all know that the interests and the motivations of the daughter is different from that of the father, and there are different political forces supporting the candidacy of the daughter, no. And in fact, the daughter chose to heed the advice of the former queen, no, who's now becoming the new kingmaker, no? The one who alive.
Yes, we'll get to
that explains why it's lakas CMD, di ba?
Right,
So,
of course. Yes.
Doon medyo nasaktan din siguro yung tatay, no? Mas nakinig ka pa sa ibang tao kasi nakinig ka sa sarili mong ama. So, and that kind of hurt is now being reflected on social media among the pro-Duterte forces, no? Nagkakaroon na nga ng dalawang variants ng DDS sa social media, no? Yung DDSS at yung DDSR, no? Yung banat bike versus thinking Pinoy, di ba?
Okay, you know, we're going to get to the EDSA narrative in just a bit, but I wanted to very quickly go through this the BBM and Digong dynamics, no? Because may sinabi President Duterte na hindi niya sinusuportahan si BBM. He will explain why eventually. But that's strange because, number one, he allowed the burial at the libingan ng mga bayani. And of course, we all know, 1993, inuwi yung labi ni former President Ferdinand Marcos. And like you were saying kanina, Professor Tiangkin, I wanted to ask Professor Atienza also about this. Very important, no? That the possible BBM victory is a referendum on EDSA and a judgment on EDSA 86, no? And what's interesting here is parang, di ba sabi nila, kasalanan ng taong bayan because we have short memory. So kasalanan natin, parang ganon. Pero talagang kasalanan ba talaga natin or kasalanan ng lahat ng gobyerno na naluklok matapos si Marcos? Because they were in power. Cory was president for 7 years. FDR, who was an EDSA hero, was president for 6 years and so on and so forth. Professor Atienza.
Yeah, I think when we look back and say that kasalanan ng taong bayan, kasalanan natin kasi hindi natin naprotektahan yung memories ng EDSA, it's basically the failure of a lot of forces, particularly we failed in strengthening the democratic institutions that we restored or put up with the 1987 Constitution. We failed to strengthen our political parties, and look what is happening now. Halos wala na talagang relevance yung political parties, and then of course hinayaan natin and we see of course now the political families, the political dynasties still trying to negotiate among themselves, negotiating but at the same time trying to outdo each other. Parang sino yung mas malakas, Marcoses ba, Duterte, or now nasa likod the GMA representing the Arroyos. Parang in a way we failed to really put up institutions and strengthen the processes that would prevent the return of the Marcoses, kasi we did not diba? In other countries kasi completely talaga natanggal na yung
yes.
or
So you're referring to this whole debate about political dynasties, and even if it is in the Constitution that they should be banned, that Congress, every post-Marcos Congress has failed to come up with a anti-political dynasty bill. However, if you look at each Congress, and I remember I would literally count the congressmen. Easily, 2/3 to 3/4 are members of political families. Pero ang tanong doon kasi is, after, nung nalulok si Cory sa pagka-presidente, the Congress that came into power at the time, the 8th Congress, 1987 to 92, panay political families din, di ba? But anyway, we're gonna get you to answer that after this very short break. More from our guests when we return. This is Politics as Usual. We are on our final stretch. This is Politics as Usual. Professor T. Hanky, can you respond to my question a while ago?
Well, it goes to show that it's political clans and dynasties, not political parties, that's been the building block of our electoral politics, and that has always been the case, no? And that's one of the failings of the EDSA elites, no? Previous administration's failure, and it's a collective failure actually to consolidate our democratic institutions and practices, no? And one of the biggest problem really is the continuing dominance of only a few political dynasties. And based on the study of the Ateneo School of Government, 70% of our present House of Representatives is composed of dynasties, and 80 in the local government units. And by 6 years' time, practically 90%, 80 to 90% of all elected positions are coming from the dynasty. So with this kind of a setup, it's not a surprise that the Marcoses were easily reintegrated into our political system.
So if you have these political dynasties, families that rule the roost in local politics, and well, as we all know, all politics is local anyway, and if you go local, then you look at the families, the clans, diba? And that's also one reason.
It has become a Game of Thrones of sorts.
Game of Thrones, right.
Yeah, it's just the elite families negotiating among themselves. If you saw that wedding in Cavite, no, it reminds you so much of the first scene in The Godfather, diba? In which all the families were gathered.
I think we've been watching a little bit too much TV na, no? Or Netflix. Yeah, okay. So, and then of course that also affects the way the so-called opposition, the vaunted opposition bloc should have acted, because the question here is, did they let this golden opportunity pass them by? Because ang tagal na pinag-usapan, Lenny Ping, Manny Isko, sana magkaisa sila kasi hati na ang boto. So anong dapat mangyari dito? Professor
Ella.
I think the golden opportunity has been lost, and that has been the trait of the progressive sector and the opposition for the past few decades. Sila mismo rin hindi magkasundo, di ba? Maraming pagkakataon nag-unite sila, pero after that wala nang sustainability, and then now there were efforts to really talk and then na-miss nila yung opportunity until November 15 na magkaroon ng further consolidation. So we now have all this number of candidates presenting themselves as opposition, pero definitely mahahati ang boto, and it will be very difficult to really try to get votes from, let's say, if ever talagang makonsolidate ang BBM and Sara tandem.
Unless, of course...
baka kailangan pa rin nila mismong mag-negotiate. Kaya lang mas mahirap na kung meron pang susuko o mag-withdraw. Kaya lang some of them, of course, are driven by personal ambitions too to become president.
Okay, and final word na lang. So, Professor Tingug, and then we have to go already. Sorry, Professor Atienza, I suppose that can be your final word. Ubus na oras. Professor Tingug.
Well, the ongoing political circus that we have witnessed, or in witnessing, goes to show how convoluted our presidential politics has become. And if we don't take seriously institutional reforms to consolidate our democracy, we will see more of the same, and this is not good for the health of our democracy.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Professors Maria Ella Atienza and Julio Tingug. We have been told before, don't talk politics at the dinner table or at a family reunion or in Viber groups and risk digital warfare. But we can talk about it here at this table on the show, your weekly political appointment fix, politics as usual. I'm Pia Ontiveros. See you back here next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. We are on our final stretch. This is Politics as Usual. Professor Tingug, can you respond to my question a while ago?
Well, it goes to show that it's political clans and dynasties, not political parties, that's been the building block of our electoral politics, and that has always been the case. And that's one of the failings of the EDSA elites, previous administration's failure, and it's a collective failure actually to consolidate our democratic institutions and practices. And one of the biggest problem really is the continuing dominance of only a few political dynasties. And based on the study of the Ateneo School of Government, 70% of our present House of Representatives is composed of dynasties, and 80 in the local government units. And by 6 years' time, practically 90%, 80 to 90% of all elected positions are coming from the dynasty. So with this kind of a setup, it's not a surprise that the Marcoses were easily reintegrated into our political system.
So if you have these political dynasties, families that rule the roost in local politics, and well, as we all know, all politics is local anyway, and if you go local, then you look at the families, the clans, diba? And that's also one reason.
It has become a Game of Thrones of sorts.
Oh, Game of Thrones, right. Right.
Yeah, it's just the elite families negotiating among themselves. If you saw that wedding in Cavite, it reminds you so much of the first scene in The Godfather, in which all the families were gathered.
I think we've been watching a little bit too much TV na, or Netflix. Yeah, okay. So, and then of course that also affects the way the so-called opposition, the vaunted opposition bloc should have acted, because the question here is, did they let this golden opportunity pass them by? Because ang tagal na pinag-usapan, Lenny Ping, Manny Isko, sana magkaisa sila kasi hati na ang boto. So anong dapat mangyari dito? Professor
Ella.
I think the golden opportunity has been lost. And that has been the trait of the progressive sector and the opposition for the past few decades. Sila mismo rin hindi magkasundo, di ba? Maraming pagkakataon nag-unite sila, pero after that, wala nang sustainability. And then now, there were efforts to really talk, and then na-miss nila yung opportunity until November 15 na magkaroon ng further consolidation. So we now have all these as a number of candidates presenting themselves as opposition, pero definitely mahahati ang boto, and it will be very difficult to really try to get votes from, let's say, if ever talagang makonsolidate ang BBM and Sara tandem.
Unless, of
So,
course,
baka kailangan pa rin nila mismong mag-negotiate. Kaya lang mas mahirap na kung meron pang susuko o mag-withdraw. Kaya lang some of them, of course, are driven by personal ambitions too to become president.
Okay, and final word na lang. So, Professor Tihanki, and then we have to go already. Sorry, Professor Atienza, I suppose that can be your final word. Ubus na oras. Professor Tihanki.
Well, the ongoing political circus that we have witnessed, or in witnessing, goes to show how convoluted our presidential politics has become. And if we don't take seriously institutional reforms to consolidate our democracy, we will see more of the same. And this is not good for the health of our democracy.
Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Professors Maria Ella Atienza and Julio Tihanki. We have been told before, don't talk politics at the dinner table or at the family reunion or in Viber groups and risk digital warfare. But we can talk about it here at this table on the show, your weekly political appointment fix, politics as usual. I'm Pia Ontiveros. See you back here next Tuesday, 8:30 p.m.
DYKB Radio Ronda. Sa kamayong adlaw sa tanan